Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are ready to waltz into your Wednesday with myself, Maha Mukhtim, only on PTV World this morning. And today we are changing it up a bit because what I was also thinking lately is that, things become very repetitive and then, you figure out a formula to something and then you apply it and then we just kind of cruise through life. And that is not the way to do it. So today we actually don't have the top stories of what's happening around the world. And we're going to launch straight into our show because we have a wonderful lineup. Very much in line with, the whole month of Ramadan, what is the sense of it, and also to kind of start our midweek with kind of a information, but also be more relaxed because in the second half we have something very, very special for you guys. But as you know, in the first half, for all the people who have joined us who have not seen us before, we do look at a verse from the Quran. We look at its practical implications and implementations within the 21st century because, things are changing. We have social media. Everything is so fast paced. And, even abroad, there's this narrative, everyone's always, kind of lumping Muslims and Islam into one massive category. But actually, it's got so many different shades of gray. And we need to get the more balanced narrative out there, the narrative that majority of Muslims practice, because those extreme ideas or the incorrect, which are incorrect as well, or they have been interpreted in such a manner where, either it's being manipulated or it's a certain way of thought. And within Pakistan, there are people who are walking many paths, but we are trying to find the one that joins us all together and find that common ground. So to discuss, today we will be discussing Surah Al-Anbiya, and we will be looking at verse 107 to 108, and it's about the Prophet's mercy, Prophet, peace be upon him, mercy to mankind, and the message he tried to convey to humanity. And within that, everyone always talks about, having the perfect role model, but yet, when we look and when we step outside, even when we look within ourselves as well, and that's where it starts from, we have to look within ourselves. We are not doing justice to ourselves or to our fellow man or to the legacy that has been left behind to us. So let's introduce to you our Quran teacher. We've been joined once again by Dr. Kaval Kesser. She is a pediatrician by profession. However, for over 20 years, she's been teaching the Quran to children through Sunnah and the Quran, a character building, to children. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
And so this is a very important surah that we need to be looking at. And also yesterday, the surah you told us about communication, I actually ended up using that in the evening.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Oh, mashallah.
And I was just feeling everything kind of falls into place. And there's guidance for everything in the Quran, which is which is the beauty of it. So now I feel like we have a lot to talk about, and we're going to have more of a discussion today as well.
Yes, because this is one element in which we sometimes live with a very erroneous kind of conception. The moment we talk about, especially at a global level, when we are trying to talk about the Prophet ﷺ, and people are living with such diverse ideas about Muslims and the prophethood, and especially our dearest Prophet.
Exactly. And also what I wanted to mention was that last week as well, we were discussing about the different interpretations and, what the message is. And, a lot of people get hung up on the ritual aspect, that, for example, that, our Quran teacher last week told, people get obsessed with how long the beard is or how, high the, these things matter. But actually, if you're missing the main message, then it becomes irrelevant how you look.
Yeah, the basic foundation has to be strong. And what I've seen, Maha, is that many times, because we as Muslims are not even aware of, as you said, the legacy of our Prophet. So what we do is when somebody, especially who is not a Muslim, comes up and asks us stuff like that, we become so defensive and apologetic in our approach. So probably today what we can do is highlight a couple of points from the life of our dearest Prophet and sort of build up an image inside our mind on how dynamic he was.
Wonderful.
So let's start with these verses. We're just doing these two verses, but they are giving us a very profound message.
Fantastic.
So this is Surah Al-Anbiya, and we'll start with verse number 107. It says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةٌ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And we have not sent you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, except as a mercy to the worlds. Now, if you look at just this whole thing, what we find out is that this basically talks about, or by addressing the Prophet, that look, you have a profound impact on the people, and you are leaving behind a legacy. And what we are supposed to do is, as Ummah, instill and ingrain and implant this legacy inside us. We need to like follow it in all walks of life, as he left behind for us. And somehow this also gives us a message that once we practice this mercy in our life, this will help us develop a very strong connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also at the very same time, through this mercy, we can also earn a reward for ourselves, not only in this life, but also for the hereafter.
Wonderful.
So he showed us success comes through mercy.
Okay.
You know, this is like a basic bottom line message, which probably many a times we miss out. Very interestingly, one of the companions, when in Meccan period, the Prophet and the companions, they were tortured and they were ridiculed and they were harassed. And one of them came up to the Prophet and said, why don't you pray against these people to Allah? Look how they are treating us. And the Prophet ﷺ very calmly responded by saying, I have not been sent down to curse people. Subhanallah, this is like so amazing. Like, you know, sometimes when we are caught up in our own emotions, and especially when somebody is always pushing that button that you're like, give me a break now. I need to take some action.
Yeah, no, I think that's what life does to us a lot. And I think, you know, I think for everyone these days, they're going through a lot of things. So everyone's being provoked, but we need to behave in the best manner.
So basically, Maha, when we talk about our dearest Prophet, we find out the mercy was an element which was oozing out from all aspects of his life. This is how I picture it.
Yes.
And when we talk about this mercy, the word that is used over here is rahma, rahmatul lil alameen. Rahma is, if you open the Arabic dictionary, it comes from the root word raham, which means womb of the mother.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That is.
And that means that this mercy is so special, like you are incorporating everyone and everything inside. You're taking everything in that fold. So that's what we find out. And the Prophet himself said that, he said, the best among you is the one who is best with his family. And then he said, I am best towards my family. Like many times we come across people who would be so good in their manners, in their charm, when they're out in public, in their office area, when they're interacting with their friends or just common people. But the moment they land back home, they are the most nastiest people.
And I feel like, you know, I mean, whatever society or community we live in, I feel like, you know, you always have those elements. And, you know, this is something that I do witness that, and this is what we've been discussing over the last 4 to 5 years as well, 4 to 5 years, not 45 years, is that, you know, we are so obsessed with portraying this perfect image of ourselves to strangers.
Yes.
Yet the people closest to us, we treat them really badly.
Yeah, a lot of even cases of domestic abuse. You would see that the girls, they come up and they're trying to talk around and they're trying to seek help. But when they are doing that, the people would always tell them that how come he seems to be such a nice man? Because he is giving a different picture, a different portrayal outside home.
Okay, so, and we'll talk about this and how to deal with it, but I want to get through the thing and then I want to have that discussion.
I can give you small glimpses how he used to interact with his wives at home, and the element of compassion and care. It was there with all of his wives. He knew how to strike the balance. When his daughter, Hazrat Fatima radiallahu anha, she would come up to meet him, he would stand up, he would greet her, he would kiss her on the forehead, he would make her sit. I mean, the respect he would show to his daughter. Then his grandchildren, when he would be in a masjid and he'll be delivering a very important sermon, and he would see his grandchildren coming up, he would go down and greet them and hug them and kiss them and, you know, actually show that element of compassion.
Okay.
And then he would visit his uncles. He had a foster mother. He would show respect to her even in later on in life when she was an old lady. And sometimes like we have these maids or, you know, like older servants or nannies who have taken care of us. And later on when we grow up and our moms say, come up, your nanny is here. Remember, she used to take care of you when you were young. And you're like, Mom, I have so many important things to do. Why do I have to go and meet her?
Okay.
So, so these kinds of elements we find out. And we know that one of the companions who served him for 10 years, and he said that I served the Prophet, Hazrat Anas Radhiyallahu Anhu. He said, I served the Prophet for 10 years, and not once he rebuked me. Not once he was harsh towards me. Can you imagine? 10 years. And we find out so many stories where obviously, he was not actually able to do what the Prophet asked him to do. But still, he was very polite and very courteous.
Okay.
So basically what we see is there is a lot of diversity. He was kind towards all people in all situations, at all times. So it was like whenever, whoever, wherever. Let me give you a couple of more examples to understand the diversity of his mercy towards believers. Like once he visited one of the companions who was sick.
I mean, but to be honest, I have never heard of any story or negativity or unjust behavior to non-believers either.
Exactly,
So
exactly. That's what I'm going to come up.
Even when he had to leave his home, it was never that he came back with vengeance and took, his, revenge on everyone.
At least some taunts or, some kind of a sarcasm or undertones.
Exactly. Nothing like that. So, I mean, from everything that we've been raised up and we've been taught that you've never seen a kind of a reaction like that.
Never,
it's always been positive action that's been taken from the examples that we've been taught.
That's exactly what we talk about these days. We say, don't react, but respond. So basically what we find out, his mercy came with responses, which were like very appropriately placed. So for the believers, we find out that one of the companions was sick, so he went to visit him. And when he saw the misery of his companion, he started crying. And what he did at that time, what he said, Allah is not going to punish because of the tears and nor because of the grief, but he can punish us because of, and he held his or pointed to his tongue. He said, like, if I am coming up over here and trying to give you support and I have tears in my eyes, or you look in grief, so there's nothing wrong with that. But if somebody starts again like taunting or backbiting or cursing or lying, that's when, you are to be accountable. This is how he used to talk to people. Then we find out, as you said, with the enemies. He was actually, he was inflicted so badly by the people of Makkah. And he actually had to move out of that city, and he went to Medina. Exactly. So when he came back after all and even there in Medina, he was in constant war zone. So when he came back, and he came back as in a leadership role, and he has conquered the whole place. And what he did was, the unbelievers, they were standing over there in front of him, and what he said was, what do you expect me? How do you expect me to treat you? And what was their anonymous response? They said, you are the noble and the son of the noble. And the moment he said that, the Prophet ﷺ said, you are all free, and may Allah forgive you. This is so amazing. Not a single word.
And so the thing is, I want to start the conversation because I don't want to run out of time, because we always run out of time and doing very important things.
But let me just wrap up a little bit.
Yes, please.
He was also merciful towards women. He gave them their status.
Yep.
Then he was towards the slaves. Then we also find out that even towards the animals, even towards the environment. You talk about anything and everything, and it was over there. Wonderful. His mercy was there. And then verse 108, it sort of tells us that if he was so merciful, it was like the epitome of his mercy, the epic point of his mercy. What did he do? Let's look at this verse.
Okay, we haven't finished. Okay, oops,
this is the second verse.
Sorry, I thought we finished.
Okay, so قُلْ إِنَّمَا يُوحَى إِلَيَّ أَنَّمَا إِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. So he said, it is only revealed to me that your God is but one God. So will you not submit? So like, when you are interacting day in, day out with someone who is epitome of mercy, what do you expect from him? He is going to guide you towards the best behavior in this life, and he would want you to submit to the supreme power in such a way that you also have the best in the hereafter.
Okay.
And that was like the message we came up in this verse. So that's how, I beautifully sum up the whole thing, that it's such an amazing character that we find out, flawless character and the impactful character.
Okay.
We need to highlight that.
Absolutely. And this flawless character, which is full of kindness and mercy, also was normal though, in the sense that had those feelings and thoughts and kind of empathy, and
it was
felt
coming
pain
with
for
empathy.
others.
It wasn't like
So-
a face value kind of a thing that he was
Exactly.
portraying.
So all of the stories that you hear. So now the thing is, within our context, let's just keep it relevant to us. And also these are opinions. So other people can have other opinions. These are certain interpretations. So there are other interpretations. So this is just one dialogue of the conversation. But as you mentioned, let's start from the last thing that you mentioned, that animals, environment, and women and people basically in vulnerable positions of society. 1439 years ago, I think I mentioned at the beginning of Ramadan, is the Islamic year. Back then, it was women are not property. They were given respect. They were given a right to inheritance. They were given a right to education. Now, this is what we have our person who we look up to, who's practicing all of these things, who's showing them kindness.
Especially when the
But-
environment or the society challenges were
exactly-
almost the same that we're facing
I mean,
now.
no. Back then, they were burying their daughters alive. They were treating them literally like we would treat. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I assume like we would
Inanimate
treat-
things.
Exactly. So now we had that back then.
Yeah.
We don't see the same happening now. Within our country, there are, the government are doing things. We have the civil society working very hard for women, education, we still have that narrative, which is taking away these God-given rights to women. Now, the position and the standing in society, the right to education. So what exactly are we looking at, and what are we actually teaching the majority when you have that actual living example back then, and we're literally contradicting everything regarding that? I mean, yesterday we had a show on Environment Day. We're not looking after environment. The amount of plastic and, the flooding in Karachi, that was just an example given yesterday due to waste and plastic bags blockage. We had that whale dying in Thailand because of rubbish. Women, we don't allow them, we stop them after a certain point from education. So what is actually happening out there? Is it because we're not reading the interpretations ourselves?
Basically, I can see the confusion that you're living with, and basically you're
I have
trying
no
to
confusion.
pick up. No, like, the society.
Yes.
Because the moment we talk about whatever we have talked about, I'm pretty sure many people would have these questions. And it's like, picking up those missing links. And we need to be actually talking about those missing links, because yes, we do believe and respect our Prophet, and we do understand his dynamic personality. The missing link is that we have stopped studying about his life. That's the starting point. Unless you get to know someone, actually get to know someone, and then you also associate yourself with him. Because what I like what energizes me the moment I talk to you is you bring me back in this time. Okay, this is what you have explained about the Quranic verse, and you have given us all the details. Now let's come back over here in the current times. How do we apply it? This is exactly what people need to do. Not change the commandments, not change what the Prophet did, and not even think like it was a totally different time. It was like we are living in different times. If you try to analyze the society, a lot of elements still exist.
I mean, back then they were burying their daughters alive. I mean, in South Asia, we are still, we still hear these stories in the newspaper. So, I mean, this is an absolute
one way or the other,
abomination.
one way or the other, we are going through the same kind of struggles. So what we need to do is study the life of the Prophet and bring it in your life as a living reality. It shouldn't be like for your intellectual satisfaction only.
Exactly. And also another thing, which I had this conversation that people are like, it should be timeless. It should be timeless. Well, no, the thing is, we evolve. We've got more knowledge, and it is like for example, there's certain words that have between 10 to 20 meanings. So it's about applying what is working in that time.
Exactly.
if you're giving gentle instructions to a society, 1500 years ago, where it was, there was,
Ma,
it was very barbaric
we also
comparatively.
need to understand that that was a society which was very close to nature. Yes, it was a barbaric society, but the people who started associating themselves with their faith, they became very focused. And since they were very close to nature, like even nowadays we talk about getting back to basics, going the organic way in our life. So, when you are living a natural kind of a life, your skills are enhanced somehow. In this fast paced kind of a life, we are living in a totally different messed up scenario.
Absolutely. And within Pakistan, we're very lucky with our geography and our landscape, because I mean, for me, I had that spiritual awakening when I went up north to Hunza. Like that's when you realize how actually insignificant we actually are. But actually, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for a very interesting conversation, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Inshallah.
Have a great day. So that was Dr. Kawal Kaisar discussing Surah Al-Anbiya, and we were talking about the Prophet's mercy to mankind, and the messages and the example that he lived, and that is, it's not impossible to achieve. There are people out there who do live this life, and it's about being kind and making sure that you are not changing the commandments to suit yourself, and also the importance of learning and reading the Quran and also your native language as well as the Arabic, is that so you know what your religion is telling you, so no one else can manipulate you and lead you down the wrong path. So with that, let's go take a break, and when you come back, we have a wonderful second half lined up for you, very much in line with the spirit of Ramadan. Do stay tuned.
کاش میں دور پیمبر میں اٹھایا جاتا، کاش میں دور پیمبر میں اٹھایا جاتا، باخدا قدموں میں سرکار کے پایا جاتا، باخدا قدموں میں سرکار کے پایا جاتا، ساتھ سرکار کے غزوات میں شامل ہوتا، ان کی نصرت میں لہو میرا بہایا جاتا، ان کی نصرت میں لہو میرا بہایا جاتا، بن کے لے جاتا مجھے نعت کے شعروں میں کوئی، روبرو ان کے میں ان کو ہی سنایا جاتا، روبرو ان کے میں ان کو ہی سنایا جاتا، ان کے روزے کے در و بام سجانے کے لیے روزنوں میں میری آنکھوں کو لگایا جاتا، काश में दौरे पैगंबर में उठाया जाता।
मुहम्मदुन अहमदुन हामिदुन महमूदुन क़ासिमुन आक़िबुन फ़ातिहुन शाहिदुन हाशिरुन रशीदुन मशहूदुन बशीरुन नज़ीर दाइर शाफिन हादिन महदिन माहिन मुंजिन नाहिन रसूलुन नबियुन उम्मियुन तिहामियुन हाशमियुन अबतहियुन अज़ीज़ुन हरीसुन अलैकुम रऊफ़ुन रहीम। तोहा मुज्तबा तोसीन मुर्तज़ा हामीम मुस्तफ़ा यासीन औला मुज़म्मिलुन वलियुन मुदस्सिरुन मतीनुन मुसद्दिकुन तय्यिबुन नासिरुन मंसूरुन मिस्बाहुन आमिरुन हिजाज़ियुन नज़रियुन कुरैशियुन मुज़रियुन नबियुत तौबह हाफ़िज़ुन कामिलुन सादिकुन अमीनुन अब्दुल्लाह कलीमुल्लाह हबीबुल्लाह नजीयुल्लाह सफ़ीयुल्लाह ख़ातिमुल अंबिया हसीबुन मुजीबुन शकूरुन मुक़तसिदुन रसूलुर रहमह क़वियुन हफ़ीयुन मामूनुन मअलूमुन हक़्क़ुन मुबीनुन मुतीउन अव्वलुन आखिरुन ज़ाहिरुन बातिन यतीमुन करीमुन हकीमुन सय्यिदुन सिराजुन मुनीरुन मुहर्रमुन मुकर्रमुन मुबश्शिरुन मुذكرٌ مطهر قريب خليل مدعو جواد خاتم عادل شهير شهيد رسول الملاحم صلى الله عليه وسلم. نسألك يا من هو الله الذي لا إله
रहमत आ जाए किरदार में, बातचीत में नरमी हो, खुशी मिले सार में। रमजान पाकिस्तान अल्लाह का एहसान है, रमजान पाकिस्तान।
Welcome back, everyone. And before the break, we were in conversation with Dr. Kavak Yasser, looking at a surah from the Quran and talking about how we should practice and take ourselves forward in the 21st century and how it's still relevant and very apt, all the information that we're getting out of it. But now, as I mentioned to you, in spirit of the whole month of Ramadan, we have been very lucky. We have been joined by the famous international Qaris and Naat group Siklan. They have been from the Islamic Republic of Iran, and they've been invited by the Cultural Consulate of Iran to Pakistan. And so here they are, and I'm going to introduce to them. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the show. So from Siklan, we have been joined by Mr. Majid Azarbu. He is part of the group. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Besides Mr. Majid Azarbu, we've been joined by Mr. Nasir Daghele. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Besides Mr. Nasir Daghele, we've been joined by Mr. Saleh Daghele. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us. And then we've been joined by representative of the Cultural Consulate of Iran, Mr. Sayyid Ramazan Ali Musfi. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
Besides Mr. Sayyid Ramazan Ali Rizvi, we've been joined by Mr. Mohammad Hussain, who is the head of the delegation from the Ministry of Culture of Iran. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us. So I've given a little introduction, but Mr. Nasser is going to tell us a little bit more about Siklan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm very thankful to PV World for inviting us in this program.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. The international Thaqalain famous Tawashi group, Naat Khani group, has a group of excellent Quran reciters, Qariyan, that have performed in many countries. This Tawashi group has been invited to Pakistan by the Cultural Consulate Embassy of Islamic Republic of Iran, Islamabad. Leader and in charge of the group is Mr. Dr. Mahdi Daghagle, who is a professor and an international judge of Quran contests. This group travels to different countries in the month of Ramadan al-Mubarak for the purpose of recitation of Quran and other Islamic hymns. It has produced hundreds of Islamic hymns songs and conducted thousands of religious and Quranic programs.
Wonderful.
But unfortunately, 4 of our group members are not present with us now here.
Okay, no, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank
and
you.
hopefully next time we can catch the remaining 4 as well. So I'm going to ask, we know why they're here. They're here to recite the Quran, and it's a very special occasion. Let me ask, Mr. Mohammad Hussain, why did Iran decide to send this group to Pakistan? Anyone?
خانم سوال میکنه که چرا این گروه ها رو ایران تصمیم گرفته که کشورهای مختلف میفرسته، هدفش چیه؟
در واقع ماه مبارک رمضان که یک به اصطلاح ماه عبادت هست برای کل مسلمین جهان و این به اصطلاح اجرای برنامه‌های قرآنی و اسلامی عامل تقرب هرچه بیشتر مسلمین به همدیگر و وحدت کشورهای اسلامی و اینکه دلهاشون به همدیگه نزدیک بشن. قرآن عامل وحدت بین مسلمین هست. برای همین گروه قاریان قرآن در ماه مبارک رمضان به کشورهای مختلف سفر میکند.
Mr. Dagle explained, the holy month of Ramadan is the month of prayer. The message of this month is the unity between Muslims,
Wonderful.
the Muslim Ummah. So the government of Iran sent the different Tawashi group, Naat Khan group to different countries with the message of Wahdat, unity between the different nations, Muslim nations.
Wonderful.
So we can express our the Quran is also the book of unity between Muslims. So we are here.
Wonderful. And this is one thing I just want to highlight. This is one thing I've always been taught, and what my father also even said, that Iran has always been shown the way, and there's such a sophisticated and rich cultural heritage and history, and the way they do show unity with also the Muslims in the world who are struggling, it is something to look at, and it's very interesting and it's wonderful. So now, if it's okay, if we can get a recitation from one of what they prepared.
من خواهش میکنم که یه تکه آیت قرآن تکین اول بعد گروهی.
اطلع التليفون اطلع التليفون.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا. كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا خالدين فيها. خالدين فيها لا يبغون عنها حولا. قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي.
ما شاء الله.
لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا.
الله الله.
قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد.
الله الله. أحسنت.
فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا.
الله الله.
فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه به أحدا صدق الله العظيم
ما شاء الله سبحان الله.
Great. Okay, so now the importance of the unity, that's the message that's being spread. So which countries so far in the month of Ramadan has Siklan visited so far?
کشورهای دیگه شما کجا میخواید یا مثلا گروه های دیگه هم که چه کشورهای بیشتر اعزام میشن؟
در واقع ما هم کشورهای اسلامی و هم کشورهای غیر اسلامی، بعضی از کشورهای اروپایی اعزام داریم. گاهی اوقات دعوت میشیم از طرف جمعیت‌های مسلمان مستقر در این کشورها و اینکه به حمدالله چون گروه ثقلین از شهر اهواز کشور ایران گروه شناخته شده ای هست برای مردم، در خیلی از کشورها هم این دعوت انجام میشه و دوست دارن که ما هم اونجا مشارکت داشته باشیم. در خیلی از کشورها مثل کشور بوسنی هرزگوین، کشور صربستان، حتی در چین و هنگ کنگ و خیلی از کشورهای دیگه مثل کشورهای عربی و غیر از اونها هم به اصطلاح بودیم، حضور داشتیم.
Mr. Dagle was explaining our Siklan famous group visited different countries in the month of Ramadan. This group is belonging to the city of Iran, Ahwaz. Ahwaz city is the famous city. Some Islamic groups.
Ahwaz.
Ahwaz.
Ahwaz. It's like Urdu word Ahwaz.
Ahwaz.
I know, I'm saying the similarity.
Some Islamic.
Like voice.
Yes,
It was voice, right?
Some Islamic groups invites us for performing Qiraat and Tawashi, just like Bosnia, Serbistan, Chin, Hong Kong, Arabic countries also.
Okay, wonderful.
We visited, mostly we visited Islamic countries and also European countries, just like
Great.
Chin.
Okay.
Yes, the Muslims, they are living there, like to our performance
Oh, wonderful.
in the month of holy month of Ramadan.
Oh yeah, and the experiences so far.
Yes.
How have the experiences been so far?
میگن که تجربه شما چند ساله هست که گروه تشکیل دادید؟
گروه خیلی many years ago تقریبا حدود بیشتر از 20 ساله که این گروه تشکیل شده.
More than 20 years we are performing and
Okay.
there is a 8 or 10 member group.
Yes.
We perform the different countries
Wonderful.
continuously.
Wonderful.
ولی
That's-
اعضای اصلی گروه ما 8 نفر هستیم.
8 members.
Okay.
ولی متاسفانه
Original members of the group is
Yes.
8 members.
And also, how has the experience in Pakistan been so far? Has Pakistan treated you well? Has it been a good?
They are twicely visiting Pakistan after
Excellent.
12 years. میگن تجربه شما در پاکستان چجوری یافتید مردم رو؟
در پاکستان من یک حقیقت رو میخوام بگم. واقعا از بهترین مجالسی که ما حضور پیدا کردیم همین مجالسی و محافلی هست که در پاکستان انجام میشه. هم مردم علاقه بسیار زیادی به شنیدن قرآن کریم دارن، به شنیدن نعت حضرت رسول صلی الله علیه وسلم دارن و بسیار مشتاق هستن و با ما همراهی میکنن اصلا و ما رو تشویق میکنن و به اصطلاح میبینیم که خیلی استقبال میشه و تشکر میکنن.
The Pakistani peoples like Quran as a Muslim and not Rasul Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We perform the different programs. Pakistani people are very good people. They welcome us.
شنونده خوبی هستند.
They also encourage us that we continue this way.
Wonderful. Great. I'm so glad it's been a good experience. But on that note, yeah, sorry.
They are also very mehman nawaz people.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you
Very,
so much.
very.
Great, excellent.
you.
So we were getting complimented left, right, and center, which is always good. But actually, we have run out of time. I'm going to wrap up the show, and I'm going to ask our guests to lead us out because they have prepared something very beautiful for us. With that, you know, it's all about unity. This is what we've been pushing for you guys, you know, which is what majority of Pakistanis are trying to achieve as well. You know, it's the small elements of society that, you know, kind of put things into disarray, but we need to be the louder voice. You cannot let people who are spreading injustice and division within us, you know, have the last say or the last laugh. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you would like any information on our first half or the second half, and if you would like to connect with our guests, log on to our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning, our Twitter page, World This Morning without a G, our Daily Motion and YouTube page, World This Morning. The repeat is at 11:05 p.m. and then after that we will get it uploaded online this week. So thank you so much for being here, and if I could request you guys to lead us out with the verse you prepared.
Thank you.
Thank you.
بخوني؟
بلاش.
أمر تواشي.
تواشي.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك يا مرسل يا أيها المدثر المزمل جبريل جاء قاصدا للمصطفى في الغار حل وهو وحيا يحمل اقرأ باسم ربك يا مرسل يا أيها المدثر المزمل اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق لم يخلق الإنسان إلا من علق اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق لم يخلق الإنسان إلا من علق هذه معاني الوحي من فيها نطق ينجو بها وهي السبيل الأفضل اقرأ وربك هو الأكرم في الكرم ما علم الإنسان إلا بالقلم اقرأ وربك هو الأكرم في الكرم ما علم الإنسان إلا بالقلم أنت نبي العرب طر والعجم أنت المنجي من اللظى والمأمن يا خاتما للرسل بل يا سيدا أهداك رب العرش اسما أحمدا يا خاتما للرسل بل يا سيدا أهداك رب العرش اسما أحمدا يا هاديا يا سيدا يا مرشدا يا سلسلا عذبا وأنت المنهل اقرأ فأنت اخترت لله الحبيب وادعوه في كل أوان يستجيب اقرأ فأنت اخترت لله الحبيب وادعوه في كل أوان يستجيب